Welcome back to the DCPU. Isn't this fun? It's just like a sleepover. We should order pizza and make Cosmos. I'm Thomas, back once again with my co-host Frank, and today we're discussing the 8th film in the DCEU, Birds of Prey, and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
And today, for the first time ever, Thomas and I are joined by a guest. He's an Emmy-nominated editor, director of the feature film Daughters of the Domino, creator of the podcast Musicals with Cheese, and its sequel show, The Cheese Wheel. It's Jesse McAnally.
Hello, that's me.
How are you, Jesse?
I'm doing well. This is a much more mellow podcast that I'm used to being on, and I'm trying to match the energy of the room. I know there's going to be moody music playing throughout, and I don't want to ruin it with my goofball shenanigans.
No, Goofball's good. Goofball's good. The music, I don't know. Thomas, what was your decision behind picking that background music?
It was long. Each track was like 30 minutes, so I would only have to put it on like 3 or 4 times, and I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Okay.
I want to say, I listen to this podcast while I drive around, and sometimes it'll just have like things in the like rear sounds, and I'm like, is there someone behind me making noise?
That's also a reason I chose it.
Scare the shit out of people. Yeah. So Jesse, welcome to the show, and
Thank you.
Before we get into the history of the project, I wanted to ask you, why Birds of Prey? Because you had texted me asking me if you could come on to do this movie specifically. So what about this spoke to you versus all the rest?
I am going to have an opinion I've held since first seeing this movie, but I think this is the best DCU movie in a fact that it is telling a story and entertaining an audience, and is doing both without feeling, you know, like the corporate tug of war of trying to impersonate another film the way that every other DCU film up to this point really has. You could argue Deadpool, but I think this has too much of its own energy to be like that. I also just think that this is a true kind of auteur work. And the auteur is neither Kathy Ann or the screenwriter, but it is Margot Robbie, who steps up as producer, and we can kind of see, like, from this point on, her producerial work is very interesting and very compelling. Promising Young Woman, we have Barbie, of course, and the forthcoming Wuthering Heights, and it kind of all starts here. And I think this really is an impressive piece of work, and I like that it's cheaper, and I really like the way that they represent the boroughs of Gotham, where it's not like Bruce Wayne's Manhattan, but we get to see like what the Gotham equivalent of Queens and Brooklyn might look like. I just think that as far as a film, this is the most effective and entertaining of the DCU outside of anything directed by James Gunn.
I will say, I had never seen this before today.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bracing for something terrible. I was just I never saw this, and I was just off put by the title and by the fact that it's spinning off from Suicide Squad, which, I mean, that's an awful movie. So but no, I agree. It's a great movie. All right, well, we should get into it. Let's get into our first segment, history of the project and details of release. Thomas, take it away. Oh, Thomas has COVID, by the way. If he sounds off today, that's why. And we're forcing him to read anyway.
He's got to stop licking those doorknobs.
Yeah.
Look, how else am I supposed to just experience the world? God. A Harley Quinn spin-off had been in production all the way back in May 2016, even before the release of Suicide Squad. The movie wasn't planned to be a Harley Quinn solo movie, but would feature a cast of several female DC heroes and villains. At the time of the announcement, details were being kept closely guarded, but names such as Batgirl and Birds of Prey had surfaced. Warner Brothers was being so guarded that they wouldn't even reveal the name of the writer, although it was known the writer was a woman. And part of me wondered if they didn't reveal the writer on purpose to keep her protected from all like the hateful fanboys. Since I'm female.
I could definitely see that. I mean, the Snyder Cut people are very, very active at this point, and they're not the friendliest bunch.
Why didn't David Ayer write the movie?
God. And this won't even be the last time talking about this writer on your guys' show.
No. On November 11th, 2016, it was announced that the screenwriter attached to the film was Christina Hodson. Interestingly enough, the date of this announcement coincides with the release of her first film with a writing credit, Shut In. Despite only having one writing credit in her career so far, she had made the blacklist 3 different times in her 4-year career, and had sold several scripts to studios. Her other writing work includes Unforgettable, Bumblebee, and The Flash. She was also the writer of the Batgirl movie that would be shelved.
Made the blacklist 3 times. That is impressive.
Yeah, it's the list of screenwriting movies that will be either never made or made into the worst film you've ever seen. That is what the blacklist is.
Hey, I mean, come on. You didn't see Flight Risk, directed by Mel Gibson this year?
I respect the blacklist, but have you, like, they did the version of Wonka about Willy Wonka going and killing his enemy's children, and that's why like that was a blacklist where it's like the dark, edgy backstory of Willy Wonka, and I think Warner Brothers just bought it so that no one would make that movie.
Yeah, that checks out. Like how Nintendo bought the Super Mario porno movie rights because they didn't want anybody putting that out there.
Man, you guys never even get to have a proper conclusion to this series because Batgirl, which is supposed to be the conclusion, never will come out.
No. Unless some brave soul at Warner Brothers Discovery leaks it while there's still time.
I think corporate mergers, like we have the Netflix merger, and I could see Netflix just being like, fuck, why the fuck not? Let's do it. We put every piece of garbage on our thing.
I don't know the legal logistics of that because they also wrote off that Looney Tunes movie, but that got a theatrical release this year. So how could they write it off 2 years ago and then sell it to somebody else? I have no idea.
Well, they made a profit off of it. So the logic is they could write it off for taxes or they could sell it for a profit. But if it really depends on if they are selling it for more they would have made than writing it off. And that's why Ketchum Entertainment, who bought both The Day the Earth Blew Up and Coyote vs. Acme, paid a ridiculous amount for both of those movies just for the goodwill to basically be like, hey, we're a company that will support the films no one else will.
So it's based on their estimate of how much they think the movie would make? Warner Brothers, I mean.
Make off of writing it off. So if you write it off, you get basically the entire budget back plus a little extra. But if you can never make money off that. But if you sell it for a little more than that, then they might be interested. Which is why they sold, I think Coyote vs. Acme sold for like $100 million. It was some ridiculous amount.
Insane. That is
that
insane.
Movie should not have been sold for.
That movie's not going to make $100 million.
No, but we all know what Ketchup Entertainment is, and it's been great marketing, and people come out. I think it will become a sleeper hit based on people like, this is the movie that no one wanted you to see. The marketing plan writes itself.
I googled it out of curiosity, and it says that the film's total budget for Batgirl was $90 million. And it said that someone guessed they got $25 million back through the write-off, which still is kind of a lot of money that they lost on it.
And it was meant to go straight to streaming, and I don't know many people with love to what that... I mean, real directors directed that movie, so maybe it was going to be great, but I don't think anyone's going to subscribe to HBO Max just for the Batgirl movie.
No, we're going to talk about HBO Max later in this, actually, but I don't know what drives people to subscribe, really. I don't think there are a lot of singular movies or shows that bring people to a streaming platform. No, that movie did not look good from the stills they put out. But, I mean, how much could you really judge a movie from a few stills?
I mean, it's got a good cast. It's got Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, Firefly, yeah.
I don't know. Could have been good.
But then they were going to bring back Michael Keaton as Batman.
We'll talk about that later in the series in a few weeks. Because, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay, moving on.
Work on the film continued, and on April 17th, 2018, it was announced that Warner Brothers and DC had picked Cathy Yan to be the director of the untitled film. Cathy Yan had made several short films, but her first feature film was 2018's Dead Pigs. The film premiered at Sundance Film Festival and won a special jury award for ensemble acting, which probably helped her land the job, as this untitled film was set to be an ensemble film. And I just, once again, this is some kind of green talent on this film, because as we noted several other times, the directors and the writers that they choose for these films usually don't seem to have a lot of work under their belt.
I agree, but I kind of like it. It has that indie film feeling to it. Like, this is the sophomore film to both the screenwriter and the director, but they are getting like true blue, like experienced production designers, cinematographers, and all of them on top of that, which is why I think this has, with all due respect, I think a very involved lead actor and producer kind of guiding the way on the outskirts that the studio trusts wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, part of it too is, I mean, because we see this in Marvel too. We see it in a lot of these blockbuster franchises where they'll pick up indie directors and writers. What's his name? Look at John Watts, right? Who did the new Spider-Man trilogy. That's not really a guy who has like a ton of high-profile work, a ton of like profitable work. But Marvel can scoop him up because they know that he'll kind of just do whatever they want him to do. You know, like a lot of these guys. Isn't that the case with Josh Trank? He had made Chronicle. Jesse knows a lot about
Yes.
Fanforstic.
I do. But the one that I always pull, because I think, with respect, it's ridiculous how they've kind of failed upward, is Nia DaCosta, who I think is a wonderful person. She's been on Blank Check several times. I think she's very good. She has yet to make a movie I like. Like, she made one indie film, and that's a true blue indie called Little Woods. Then from that, she did the Candyman reimagining, which I thought both of those were particularly bad. And then The Marvels. Like, that is her third movie, is The Marvels. And then she follows that up with Hedda, which is, boring but fine. And next year, she's directing the new 28 Years Later.
Yeah, she is.
Whereas Kathy Yan, in the same amount of time, has not done anything. She has one film in the works next year, and her slate has been completely blank. She's almost been in director's jail because she made a good film that happened to come out right before COVID.
This movie deserved better, but we'll talk about the box office later.
Despite being a newer director, it was said that Kathy Yan's presentation for the film was exceptional, and Robbie held poll and wanted the film to, understandably, be directed by a woman. This led to Yan getting handed the film over numerous well-established male directors. And also of note, Kathy Yan would be the first Asian woman director ever tapped to direct a superhero film.
Do we have any speculation on the numerous well-established male directors?
Zack Snyder.
No.
Steven Soderbergh.
That would be something.
Mel Gibson.
What?
I was going to make a Mel Gibson joke, so I'm grateful I didn't say it.
Oh, no, please.
No, because there was so many years where that was the director of Suicide Squad 2. Like, that was, like, the actual person they had attached for some reason. As far as an Asian director, like, I guess that makes sense when you actually think about it. I'm grateful that it's, like, not just, like, hiring an Asian director to tackle the Asian, like, superhero, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not that I can think of any off the top of my head, but that seems to be Hollywood's way of like, well, you stay in your lane, and this is just like, hey, direct a fun superhero film, and you happen to also be an Asian woman. And she's got like this arcanic sense of humor too, based on interviews and all that. I think it just really worked. But really, we all know Margot Robbie called all the shots.
I think it is a very funny movie. Margot Robbie especially. Going back to the male directors, though, the only one that sticks out to me now, and that's just because I was doing research on it, Chad Stahelski, the director of the John Wick movies, did second unit photography for this movie.
Yeah, I think he came in to do reshoots, too, on fight scenes.
So maybe the plan was to get him originally?
I mean, that would have kind of followed the Deadpool train, because Deadpool 2 got David Leitch, who is also a John Wick director, and so I guess that if that was the case, that would have been the right move, but I think what they did is the better option.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, those movies, and Ballerina, even though it was directed by Len Wiseman, is still, you could feel the heavy touch of Chad Stahelski, but this definitely feels different from those, so I'm glad they didn't just, because it probably would have just felt like a John Wick movie. The way that they shoot action scenes in those movies felt very different from the way the action is shot in this movie. And the action in this movie is good. That was something else I was not expecting, but it was like surprisingly well choreographed and very fluid. I love the way they move the camera around in this. We normally don't get into this stuff until we're talking about the plot, but that's okay. That's okay.
I'm so sorry I'm ruining the structure. I keep interrupting.
There is no structure.
No, the structure... No, the interruptions are good. In interviews in May 2018, Margot Robbie would go on to open up a bit more about the project. I pitched the idea of an R-rated girl gang film including Harley because I was like, Harley needs friends. Harley loves interacting with people, so don't ever make her do a standalone film. She's got to be with other people. It should be a girl gang. I wasn't seeing enough girl gangs on screen, especially in the action space, so that was always a big part of it. She says girl gang a lot.
It's a good point, though.
Imagine her Australian accent. Girl gang.
Yeah. On the director search, Robbie said that it was important to have, quote, a female director to tell that story, and giving a female director the chance to do big budget stuff. They always get, here's my tiny little film. I was like, I love action. I love action films. I'm a girl. What, are we only meant to like a specific thing? So it was hugely important to find a female director for this, if possible. But at the end of the day, male, female, the best director gets the job, and Kathy was the best director. She also let slip that this was the only Harley spin-off she was involved in, although there were others being worked on internally, including a Gotham City Sirens film by David Ayer and a Joker and Harley movie.
Okay, I was literally about to ask about the Joker and Harley movie. It was supposed to be done by Glenn Ficarra and John Requa, who did Bad Santa and I Love You, Philip Morris. And I just remember periodically they would be in interviews doing something else, and they'd be like giving an updates where it's like Bad Santa meets This Is Us, and Warner Brothers loves the script. We're so excited. And Margot Robbie has never once brought up the fact that this had even existed.
That's complete. It doesn't even faze me at this point.
And then we also have like a Joker, like Todd Phillips nonsense coming out 1 year, like the same time, like previous.
A year before, wasn't it 2019?
I think so.
Yes.
So that movie. Oh my God! They already did the Joker, Todd Phillips movie, and they wanted to do a Jared Leto, Margot Robbie movie too.
But just imagine, it's from October to February. We have two different Jokers in the same studio. It's why did they think anyone could get a handle of this? And I still have that question for James Gunn, where we've got to have two Batmans at the same time.
Yeah, I'm of two minds on that, because I think The Batman is a great movie, but also I agree, like, it is going to confuse the shit out of people to have two Batmen running around, and to have your solo Batman movie for the whole cinematic universe not even titled Batman, assuming he still goes with the title Brave and the Bold, because you don't want to confuse people with the Matt Reeves one. I don't know.
They could always bring back the Night of Night title from Batman v Superman.
Yeah, that's true.
By July 2018, the film was entering pre-production, and Margot Robbie confirmed the film would be titled Birds of Prey. She also noted that the film would be produced under a smaller budget, and that she was looking to cast diverse actors in the roles. When the full title was revealed, Robbie would explain the subtitle while on The Tonight Show, saying, "It's not a very serious movie, so we thought the title should reflect that. Like, Birds of Prey makes it sound very serious, and that's kind of like Harley adding her, 'Hey, don't worry, I'm in this too.'"
It's a terrible subtitle.
It is pretty bad. I feel like it kind of turned people off of it.
Honestly, might be the worst title I've ever seen in a movie.
There's too many worse titles.
It's just such a mouthful, and I think it's just trying too hard.
It is, but then you've got like Birdman or the uncontrollable weight of whatever the fuck. Like it's
I don't
not
like that
an
either.
uncommon.
Yeah,
it's not an uncommon thing that people use. Everyone's just gonna call it Birds of Prey. The subtitle's kind of an optional whatever the heck. I understand the point. Marketing wise, for something that's already a hard sell, it's making it much harder. But I wanted to ask, I don't know anything about the Birds of Prey in the comic book world of DC. I know there was the CW pilot that they released, but what are the Birds of Prey in the comics?
Well, the Birds of Prey in the comics, first of all, Harley Quinn is not in the Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
And was never in it. It's usually Batgirl, Black Canary, and Huntress. And it's like their own little superhero team. And then there's like other characters that rotate in and out, but it's usually like those three.
At least that makes sense, because they're all kind of birds, I guess. Like Harley Quinn's a clown; it should be birds of clown.
It's clown birds.
I think the title's not bad because of the subtitle. I think it's bad because Birds of Prey once again makes you think, like, it pisses off the comic fans because this is not the Birds of Prey, and it pisses off Harley Quinn fans of why are we not getting a Harley Quinn movie.
No, I agree. They should have marketed this and titled it accordingly as a Harley Quinn movie, not Birds of Prey and also Harley Quinn.
I mean, did Harley Quinn ever do any like group groups or anything like that? Join any groups that could have maybe fit this?
Suicide Squad, but that's already a thing.
I mean, they had the Gotham City Sirens, which is her,
yes,
Catwoman, and Poison Ivy.
That's true. I forgot about that one.
That's already a better title. Harley Quinn and the Gotham City Sirens.
And it's more accurate because, yeah, Batgirl's not in this.
Honestly, there's a lot in this movie that isn't comic accurate, and I think that was something that worked against it.
What? Black Mask isn't like that in the comics?
As for casting, for the role of Black Canary, Warner Brothers had considered Janelle Monáe and Gugu Mbatha-Raw before landing on Janice Smollett-Bell. For Huntress, they also looked at Sophia Boutella, Margaret Qualley, and Kristen Milotti before deciding on Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Additionally, the Penguin was intended to appear in the film at some point in production, but was taken out due to his impending appearance in Matt Reeves' The Batman, so instead he was replaced with Black Mask. And the Black Mask casting was down between Ewan McGregor and Charlton Copley. Copley?
Copley,
I know that name. What is he from?
He's in District 9.
District 9. Chappie.
Oh, Chappie, of course.
He's in, what is it called? Hardcore Henry? He plays Jimmy.
I feel like with this script, it was 100% the Penguin, because I can kind of see an effeminate kind of interpretation of the Penguin as done here, and then they were told no, and they just hit the Command F and replace.
Absolutely.
And did very little else to change it.
I'm pretty sure we learned this only a year or two ago. Colin Farrell was talking about it in an interview. It makes a lot of sense because, yeah, Black Mask is nothing like this in the comics. His sort of like manic behavior is definitely more fitting of the Penguin. That's not to say I don't like what Ewan McGregor is doing in this movie because I love it, but it's not Black Mask.
I know we're not into the opinions part of the movie, but I was also like, man, this is an interesting choice. But the minute that he kills a little girl, carves her face up because she had a snot bubble, my little feet were swinging in their seats in the movie theater. I'm like, this is my kind of movie.
That's also when I was sold on what he was doing too, because as soon as he goes, ew, peel it off, I was just laughing so hard.
And Ewan McGregor's an actor that is either really good or the worst part of a movie. He is an acquired taste most of the time, and I think it works for me in this movie.
Oh, I love him in this movie. I don't think he's necessarily that accurate, but I like what he did with the role. And Ewan McGregor and Mary Elizabeth Winstead had been dating for years at that point and would eventually have a kid together and get married.
Man, threw away his whole family.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. They met on the set of Fargo Season 3. And, he cheated on his wife, and it's very messy.
She cheated on her husband, too. It wasn't...
Yes,
everyone cheated.
Sorry. Yes.
Everyone's unfaithful.
And then she ends up in Star Wars, too. Not that she ever interacts with Obi-Wan in Star Wars, but...
They should just make a show of that.
Oh, God.
Hello, I know you. Hello, I know you as well. You have weird ear thingies.
Are you married?
Hello, I'm cheating on my wife.
Ruin.
Yes. Oh, God. All right, let's move on to the state of movies, DC, and the characters at release. As far as movies go, we've got 1917, Bad Boys for Life, Sonic the Hedgehog, and The Invisible Man. And now, I didn't see any of these except for Sonic the Hedgehog, and I wish I had seen this instead. Because I did not like the Sonic the Hedgehog movie that much. It's okay, it's fine.
This was the last movie I saw before COVID. This for a long time was the last movie I saw in theaters, and it was great. And ironically, Bad Boys for Life, same directors as would be the Batgirl movie from the same writer.
Ah, okay. It's also worth noting that this is the year without a Marvel, as I like to call it. It's the first year since 2009 in which Marvel Studios hadn't released anything. I just thought that was interesting because, for this point, 12 years, Marvel Studios had been pumping out 2 or 3 movies a year, and I don't think they intended to take a break. I believe Black Widow and a couple other things were supposed to come out, but they kept getting pushed because of COVID.
I'm curious if Black Widow would have done that well in theaters had, the world not ended. Considering this being a kind of harbinger for, the way that people are treating female-led superheroes in a post-Endgame world.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I definitely think it would have made some money, but probably not as much as they were expecting. I don't know. I mean, Captain Marvel made over $1 billion.
The Marvels made less than 500 something. It made ridiculously less.
But that's after COVID. So I don't know, because the industry's never recovered from that. The box office totals have never climbed back up.
I agree, but I think they did a good job in the early days of the Marvel world, making it feel like you had to see every one of them for special things. Like the end of Infinity War was a little tease for Captain Marvel, which
That's
made
true.
you think like, hey, that's going to tie in quite a bit more. And it came out like 2 months before Endgame, so it really tied in. And I can't get tickets to Endgame. Well, Captain Marvel's still in theaters. Best go see that.
And there's Shazam, but nobody saw that, so.
I saw it.
Sandwiched
I
right
saw
between those two. I also saw it in theaters, yeah. But we talked about that last week, but their only movie for 2019, and DC puts it right between Captain Marvel and Endgame. Like, what were they thinking?
I have not had the chance to listen to your Shazam episode yet, but I probably should cut this out. Did we go into what a weirdo Zachary Levi has always been, and has become?
We're saving that for the second Shazam.
Okay.
Because at that point, we can talk about everything that's wrong with that man.
Because I was getting inside baseball back before the first Shazam came out of what a fucking weirdo he is in the theater world. Like, he would just prey on PAs and lower people and start handing out Bibles, like, before he was anything. And he
awesome.
claimed... the incredible Broadway performer Gavin Creel, who performed with him in She Loves Me, he claimed that the COVID vaccine caused his cancer.
Holy shit.
So, fucked up guy.
No, he's a whole thing. And in the world of DC animation, there was only one feature film in 2020. Justice League Dark: Apocalypse War. This marked the end of the DC animated movie universe, which had started with the company's animated adaptation of Flashpoint all the way back in 2013. And as we talk about animation, I'm reminded of something that we failed to mention these past 2 weeks, DC Universe, which was a streaming service that catered exclusively to DC media. It launched on September 15, 2018. It had a large backlog of animated and live-action DC movies and television shows, a rotating selection of comic books to read, and it even featured original programming like the previously mentioned Titans, Doom Patrol, and Swamp Thing. And part of this original programming block was an animated self-titled Harley Quinn series, which had premiered in January 2019 and would be wrapping up its first season by the time Birds of Prey came out. I had completely forgotten this existed. Every show that we talked about last week and here would migrate to HBO Max. So this thing was like fully supported for like 2 years, and I don't know, it's way too niche for me. I don't know why they did this in the first place.
You fired a neuron of guilt that is not fired in half a decade, which is I did subscribe to DC Universe to watch the first season of Harley Quinn for a very brief period of time.
How was it over there?
It was a nightmare app. Let me just tell you, it did not work very well because it was the only place you could have the Batman animated series at the time. So you had Harley Quinn, and I watched some of the Batman animated series, and I said, I'm done with this. Did not extend that free trial, but I did use it, and it is a stupid thing that existed.
I think I remember trying to use it, and it would just, like, I was trying to watch a show, and it would just stop in the middle of it and just infinitely load, and then I'd have to exit out and then re-go back into the episode, and sometimes it would work, and sometimes it wouldn't.
It still exists today in some form, Thomas. Weren't you telling me that this still exists for the comic part?
Yeah. It's like the Marvel has like Marvel Unlimited, and then they have DC Universe Infinite. But I think it's strictly just comics now. And now we have the birth of HBO Max. The new hip thing to do as an American media corporation around this time was abandoning existing streaming platforms that you'd license your content out to, like Netflix, to instead make your own service. Disney Plus and Apple TV Plus in November 2019, Peacock in July 2020, and of course Warner Media had to get in on it, with May 2020 marking the launch of HBO Max. HBO Max wasn't off to a great start for Warner Brothers, as the service would get much fewer subscribers than they had hoped, which led to massive layoffs.
Yeah, they laid off like 600 people around August 2020. They blamed it on COVID. I mean, to me it seems more likely that they hired all these people expecting HBO Max to be a big hit. And if anything, COVID would encourage people to sign up for a streaming service because they can't go to a theater. I just thought it was worth mentioning.
I gotta say, when HBO Max launched, it was far and away the best streaming service out there. It had films from before like 1995. It was like their Turner Classic Movies section. They had all these animated series. Like, it had a robust library. So I am also like a little disappointed at where it's become now.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree. The lineup when it first started was nuts. Like, far and away the best selection. Ever since Discovery bought them, it's just like you see a Turner Classic movie next to like Property Brothers or some shit. Like, I don't know. My 600-pound sisters. Like, I just fucking seriously, all the TLC shit is just next to Casablanca, and it's just, I don't want to be a snob, but it's just distasteful.
And as for the character in the comics, with the DC Rebirth lineup of comics in 2016, Harley Quinn had her own solo book. It was on issue number 69 by the time the film released, and it ended in August 2020 after 75 issues. As you'd imagine, Harley was also part of the company's then current Suicide Squad lineup in an ongoing run that started in 2019. Harley Quinn would also headline the ensemble book Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, which launched only 5 days after the film's release as part of DC's Black Label imprint. And it was interesting to note that before this, Harley had never been part of the Birds of Prey team. The concept was basically invented for this movie.
Thomas, I expected you to have the answer. Maybe Jesse has the answer. Wasn't this the imprint in which Batman showed the world his penis?
Yes. I got confused by the question when I first read it because I thought you meant was it in the Birds of Prey book?
No.
And I was like, no?
Jesse, are you familiar with this?
Of course I am.
Okay,
of the shadow of his penis. Are you aware of the other Batman penis controversy that Kevin Smith brought about?
Oh, no, but I'd love to hear about this.
Kevin Smith wrote a comic where he talks about one of his first time saving someone from a burning building, and the change in heat affected him so much that he pissed himself. And everyone's like, why would Batman piss himself? Batman's cool.
I do remember that. I didn't read it, but I remember hearing about that.
Like, he has interesting ideas. Like, Automatopoeia is an interesting idea for a Batman villain, but the execution is ridiculous. And also the Joker sees Batman's junk in that comic book too. It's interesting. That man cannot remotely take himself seriously for 5 seconds, and Tusk is proof of that.
Okay. Now we finally get to the plot synopsis and discussion. Looks
3 hours in.
No. Depending on the movie, this, like, when we had to read the plot synopsis for Batman v Superman, that was so fucking
It was like
convoluted.
2 whole pages.
Other than being told out of order for the first half, this movie isn't that complicated.
But it does have the one thing in common with Ghostbusters 2016, which is a very obviously cut out dance sequence.
Oh, yeah? Where do you think that was?
When she gets punches and then she looks like Marilyn Monroe for a second, and we only get like glimpses of it. I'm like, oh, that was supposed to be a bigger sequence, and we'll never see it now.
4 years after the defeat, sorry, he's giving me COVID through the computer. I'm sorry, Jesse, you might catch it too.
Frank, there might be a letter showing up at your door earlier.
Yeah, incorrect.
As my spit in it.
4 years after the defeat of the Enchantress, the Joker breaks up with Harley Quinn, throwing her out on the Gotham City streets. She's taken in by Doc, the owner of a Taiwanese restaurant, and recovers from her relationship by cutting her hair, adopting a spotted hyena, and taking up roller derby.
They tried to get a real hyena, and then they found out a real hyena would never fucking listen. I think they had a real dog, like a proper Siberian Husky, and then they just kind of added CG elements.
They masked the head or something. Yeah. I like the intro, the animated intro. I thought that was
I didn't
very
remember
nice.
that. Even though I've seen it. I was like, oh, I forgot it has an animated opening.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny that they go through this whole history of Harley's life, and they keep her Suicide Squad design, but they changed Jared Leto's Joker to look like just the normal Joker.
I noted that too. I was like, it's weird that they made this Joker look more comic accurate. So I don't know if they were trying to walk it back or...
Oh, absolutely. They were trying to walk it back.
Wait. I know this is not... Have I ever told my Jared Leto Joker story to you, Frank?
No, please.
Did you get a letter in the mail?
Use condom! Frank knows my partner and the star of The Daughters of the Domino, Miranda Moffat, fairly well. in the year of our Lord 2015, the Suicide Squad Comic-Con trailer came out, and that became her entire personality for a full year. She was so excited for that movie. She thought it looked incredible, and so much that Halloween 2015, before seeing any of the movies, she wanted to dress up as Harley Quinn, and she made me dress up as the Jared Leto Joker. Photos exist of me dressed as Jared Leto Joker with the tattoos and grills and everything.
Oh, that is amazing.
And you never felt cooler.
We had a whole year to be disappointed. But I have never seen the 5 stages of grief on a human being in speed up as I had with Miranda seeing Suicide Squad for the first time, where I'm watching it like, oh, this is a piece of shit. And then she's like, no, it was good. It was good. Well, it wasn't that bad. Then the next day I see her, she's like, it was the biggest piece of shit. I'm like, all right, we're back on the same playing field. Let's go.
That's kind of where I was with Justice League. I was just in the theater coping. I'm like, okay, well, this isn't all bad. I mean, it's got colors now.
Superman smiled.
Superman smiled, and it looked very scary, but, you know. Okay, so Harley gets drunk at a nightclub owned by ruthless crime lord Roman Sionis, and cripples his driver after he insults her. She meets burlesque singer Dinah Lance, who later rescues an intoxicated Harley from an attempted abduction. Impressed by Dinah's fighting skills, Roman appoints her as his new driver. The next night, Harley gets drunk again, and overhearing some of her drinking buddies debating over whether she's actually broken up with the Joker, blows up the Ace Chemicals plant to publicly announce their breakup. When everyone finds out she's not under the Joker's protection anymore, Harley starts getting attacked by every criminal that holds a grudge against her. And we've only gotten to the second paragraph, and they're already telling shit out of order. Or in this case, in order, because the film tells it out of order. I think she just killed 1 million people. It's like Cancer Alley, you know? Like, she's just like wafted this big toxic cloud. I don't know how close it is to Gotham. You know, it has to be in the city somewhere. It's probably like the Detroit Marathon plant.
Well, now the entire city is going to become Jokers. Like, everyone's going to get white skin and a big old smiley face.
I had that thought during the movie. I'm like, well, if it was really that simple, you know, couldn't Jared Leto have just dunked like 20 women in the vat? Like he's doing like a mega church baptism where it's just a pool of acid, stares into the pool, stares out, just one after the other. I guess that's in the next paragraph. But I really like the use of, I guess, oneers, right? I mean, there's obviously some hidden cuts, but it's very smooth. I like the way that Harley's kind of moving around. I like the energy. I do like the energy in this movie. It is very chaotic, but in a way where it's obviously not retrofitted to be that way. Like with Suicide Squad, they clearly shot a different movie, and they tried to make it all manic and shit. But this was the intent from the start, and it works. It works when it's not like a slapdash effort.
And also, I hate to say I like this, but there is an attempted assault, and it's not like horrendously triggering, but it is taken seriously. It's not like a joke like you would see in a Tarantino movie. It is a serious thing that we are taking serious, but it's not going to ruin the tone of this movie.
The part where she jumps on that guy's legs made me cringe. Just because the snap, and I was like, oh god, that would hurt so much. Any other thoughts?
No, I guess because we're jumping around here, she's already ordered her sandwich by this point. That sandwich made me really fucking hungry. When he's cooking up the sandwich and the egg and the bacon and shit. This is very.
There are full tutorials on how to make that exact sandwich on YouTube from the guy that made it.
Swear to God, I'm going to look that up after we're done because I am starving, and that was so beautifully photographed. I also thought that Harley, for the whole like first half of the movie, she's dressed like she's in Blade Runner. She's got like that weird outfit with like the plastic tassels and stuff, and it just reminded me of that like stripper character in Blade Runner who Deckard's trying to hunt down.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember her name. I don't remember any of the replicants' names.
I mean, they're half people. Come on, Frank.
Yeah, they're not people. Deckard's a good person.
Yeah,
He's never forced himself on a woman.
Never. I did want to bring up the costume designer and the way that she thought out. For this movie, as kind of a reaction to Suicide Squad, they wanted to make sure that everything that Harley wears is very DIY and very kind of augmenting piece of clothing that already exists for cosplaying, because they felt with Suicide Squad they kind of priced out with how specific her costume was in that, and girls would have to pay $50-$60. Where here, like, everything's kind of ramshackle, thrown together, and made so that people that are cosplaying can make the costumes on the cheap without having to pay for, like, you know, the replica created version.
That is really cool. I don't know if I've ever heard a costume designer take that kind of approach before. To be fair, I'm not dinging her Blade Runner outfit. I love all the outfits she's got. Most of the costumes in this movie I think are really good. The only ones I don't like are Huntress's. They look really bad to me. She's got like the midriff, and it looks like she's wearing a garbage bag at the end of the movie. But no, that's really cool.
Her costumes in this were definitely better than her costume in Suicide Squad.
I think they're better than the Suicide Squad as well. I think this is the best she looks in the DCU.
Meanwhile, GCP detective Renee Montoya investigates a series of mob killings carried out by a crossbow-wielding vigilante. She tries to recruit Dinah as an informant, but Dinah rejects the offer, as the GCPD wasn't there to prevent her mother's death. Roman sends Dinah and his sadistic right-hand man Victor Zsasz to retrieve a diamond embedded with the account numbers to the fortune of the Bertinelli crime family, who were massacred years ago. Young pickpocket Cassandra Cass Kane steals the diamond from Zsasz and swallows it after she is arrested. And we're introduced to two non-comic accurate characters.
What is more accurate, this or Batman Begins version of Zsasz?
Oh god, I forgot he was in that. Probably that one, because I feel like he's just more crazy. This one, he just seems like he's crazy, but I wouldn't say he's like crazy.
They don't mention his name until way later. But when they said this was Victor Zsasz, I'm like, what the fuck? This is Victor Zsasz? I mean, I don't know a ton of comics he's been in, but I've played the Arkham games, okay? And that is a bald motherfucker with tally marks all over his body, not just fucking random scratches here and there.
And they're deeply in love, him and Black Mask. There is love and respect there, and I don't think either of them have that in their comic representations.
No, that's definitely canon. They're definitely a couple. It's a Black Label imprint.
But here's where I actually have to bring up the leaks and the stuff going on, where this went on for months even after the movie released. So, we all know who Grace Randolph is, right?
Yeah, she's a liar.
How dare you?
Professional liar.
Yep. Gets into fights with James Gunn and Kathy Yan and all that. So, in the lead up and the production of this film, there was a leaked thing that the MacGuffin of this film was a diamond, and inside of it had the dick pics of Black Mask. And I
do remember this.
And that is what everyone is trying to get.
And if that was true and they have a child swallow it, that'd be insane.
But I went into the movie like knowing like, hey, that was the leak. And you notice they never bring up what the numbers are while they're on screen. Like, it's always like an ADR dub or something of what's happening. So Grace Randolph was really perpetrating this rumor quite a bit. And eventually, I want to say, in May of 2020, Kathy Yan gets fucking sick of hearing it and tweets at her saying, "This is not true. There has never been any discussion around the size of Roman's dick. I can't believe I have to write that. The original script called for an image of Roman as Michelangelo's David. You know, art. If that's a dick pic, then the Louvre is full of them." Which, on one hand, fair. However, Kathy Yan says, "Meanwhile, articles like this below are written off as your scoops. Congratulations on being the scum of journalism." However, many years later, Kathy Yan said that it was a picture of Michelangelo's David with his head on it, but the penis was too small and he wanted it back and he was embarrassed. Which, I'm not going to try to defend Grace Randolph, but she's kind of getting the point of what the MacGuffin is.
I never heard that part of it. I remember hearing the bullshit, like it's just his dick pics, but to find out that that was actually true to some extent. Interesting. Yeah, I never put together that it was all ADR when they talk about what's actually on the diamond. That's crazy.
I think I'm glad they changed it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the right call was made.
Yeah. Thomas, you were going to talk about the comic accuracy, or?
Well, in the comics, Cassandra Cain is the daughter of an assassin, and she was never taught to speak from a young age because she was literally just born to be like the best combatant ever. And that's just completely different from who Cassandra Cain is in this movie.
Doesn't she become part of the Bat family too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's the third Batgirl.
Well, I guess we've already established in this universe there's no Robins, there's no sidekicks. Apparently there would be a Batgirl with that movie, but
There would be a Batgirl.
that's also with Michael Keaton's Batman. So I don't know where the fuck that would
But
fit in.
J.K. Simmons, Commissioner Gordon, he was going to be in Batgirl, which is just like
That's right, he was.
adding more confusion to this.
Oh my god.
Bring back Pat Hingle. CGI him to be the Bat or the Commissioner Gordon.
Can we get a shitty CGI Alfred from the 60s show? I did like the introduction scene for Montoya, where she's like going through the crime scene, and then it kind of flashes back while like she's there while the crime is happening. Like she's seeing how it went down.
Yeah, I
That was
took note of
pretty
that too. I thought that was nice. Another cool, oneer where it's like camera moves around and we see that Huntress is there doing her thing. I thought it was a nice introduction.
Did you guys notice Ali Wong, the comedian, was Montoya's ex?
Mm-hmm.
That was
yes,
a waste of a very funny performer.
I agree. I saw her name on the cast list before I started watching the movie, and I was expecting her to pop up, and then she was in it for like 2 minutes, and she's just completely serious. I had the same thought, like, what a waste. Since the plot synopsis has already been moving things around, how did we feel about the choice to structure the movie this way, where we're kind of jumping forward and backward, and not just with time, but also the different characters?
I like it. I think it's great.
I think that's the part that it might not even be the structure, but I felt like the second half was a lot better. Maybe because it just doesn't meander as much. There's a lot of world building and exposition in the first half as it jumps around, and maybe that's what it was for me, but it did feel like it was a little slower. I did like what I was watching. I'm not sure if the way they structured it is part of that, and if they had put it in chronological order, it would have felt a little quicker.
I don't know, because I see things like weapons where it's doing the thing of like asking questions that the next segment answers, and I kind of appreciate that kind of thing. But as far as what you're saying, I wonder if it was shot to be that way, or if this was something found in the edit, which is why does it feel as intentional?
That could be it. I don't know. We'd have to go look at the script.
We'd have to tweet at Kathy Yan pretending we're Grace Randolph.
Tell me about the dick pics.
Harley, fleeing from Montoya and several others, is captured by Roman's men. Roman sends Harley to recover the diamond for him under the threat of death, and also places a bounty on Cass. Breaking into the GCPD with a grenade launcher filled with paint and sparkle rounds, Harley frees Cass and the pair escape. While hiding out at Harley's apartment, they bond. Doc is approached for information by the crossbow killer, who is revealed to be Helena Bertinelli. Having survived her family's massacre and becoming trained as an assassin, Helena has been targeting each of the gangsters responsible for her family's murders, preferring the moniker Huntress. Harley's place is later bombed by criminals looking for Cass, and Doc admits that he sold Harley out. Harley calls Roman and offers to turn her over in exchange for his protection, agreeing to meet at an abandoned amusement park. Dinah notifies Montoya of the rendezvous, but her betrayal is noticed by Zaz, who informs Roman. A devastated Roman dons his ritualistic mask, from which he gets his nickname Black Mask. Holy fuck, that's a mouthful. Also, that's like 2 scenes. Like, okay.
No, it's way more than 2 scenes.
I don't. There's like the GCP, all the stuff.
That's like
Harley's
45 minutes.
I really like the GCPD stuff. I thought it was very creative. I love the colors. The idea to give her these grenade rounds filled with like paint and smoke and sparkles and shit was very cool. Like, I thought that really worked. The action, again, well choreographed. I wonder if this in particular might have been part of what Chad Stahelski had helped shoot, because it felt like the framing was wider, which is more reminiscent of the John Wick movies. Also, Margot Robbie, again, just such a great comedic actor. She's so expressive, every delivery, too. The part where she's trying to get into the cells and the fucking control board is saying, like, access denied, denied, denied. She's just making all sorts of faces and smash, like, great prop comedy. She's smashing this assault rifle or her grenade rifle into the controls, just out of frustration. She's so good. She's such a talented actress.
And it's, like, very sincere. Like, and what I mean by that is it's not embarrassed to be goofy and girly and all that stuff, but also very violent. Like, it is embracing the sparkles. And I love that she's like a Wile E. Coyote, like, Looney Tunes character where cocaine fuels her.
Looney Tunes is exactly what I was thinking. I didn't know how to articulate it, but you're right on the money with that.
And I'm just looking at this. Like, I pulled up the scene right here. The colors in comparison to every other DC movie that I've seen up to this point.
The only ones before this that come close are Aquaman, which is, like, crazy colorful, and Shazam, I would say. But Shazam is more muted because, I guess, other than the characters, it's just Philadelphia, and there's nothing too crazy going on there. It's Christmassy, but no, you're right. The colors are crazy. The whole movie, I was thinking about how vibrant this looked. And it's not like in Justice League, where they just cranked up the saturation. You know, like, this is clearly every aspect of it, like the production design and the costumes, and, you know, it just, effort was put into it. Like, they wanted it to look this way, and they didn't make that decision after the fact. It was just something that they had planned out.
Thomas, I gotta ask you, what did you think of the reference to Suicide Squad with Captain Boomerang being thrown on the wall for a second?
It was pretty funny. I almost wished it was a little bit bigger because it was kind of hard to tell who it was on the... Like, I was like, oh, I think it's Captain Boomerang, but I did like that they didn't shy away from mentioning Suicide Squad. But I like that they actually mentioned that movie and didn't try to pretend it didn't exist. Which seems like something that they would kind of try to do.
The thing is, Suicide Squad made a shit zillion dollars. Like,
that's true. So it's not like it wasn't successful.
It made a lot of money, but at what cost? Like, and what I mean by that is, like, we were talking about how bad this movie did at the box office because of COVID, but it could also be like Suicide Squad was so bad that it put people off from seeing any kind of sequel or spin-off of it. Like, I had the same thoughts about Batman v Superman. That movie made over $800 million, but it was also, you know, a lot of people hated that movie when they walked out of it. And I think, they might have burned a lot of goodwill. They made that trailer that Miranda was obsessed with for over a year, and everybody loved the trailer. That trailer was great, but then everybody went to go see it, and they realized the whole movie is edited like a trailer. You know what I'm saying?
Could have been a soulful drama.
A soulful drama. I don't think it would have been I think he might be up his own ass about that, but I'm not convinced it would be worse than what we got, for sure.
Hashtag release the Ayer cut.
Yep.
The script, you read the script, Thomas. There was nothing there.
I mean, I thought it seemed like it was at least a little bit better than what the real movie was.
It was a movie, I'll give you that.
I did like the relationship between Harley and Cass, and I felt like I would have liked to see them get started with that a bit earlier in the movie.
I like the relationship too. I think the kid who plays Cass, I forget her name. Ella something?
Her name is Cass. Duh.
Ella J. Basco. I thought Ella J. Basco was pretty good in the role.
Wait. Oh. Do you know who her godfather is?
Is it Zuko?
Yeah, Dante
Basco. Yeah.
Hook. Rufio himself.
Yes. I had a feeling as soon as I read the last name that there would be some kind of connection there.
I feel like at this point, too, it felt like Huntress was introduced so late in the film.
Yeah, that is one of my few complaints about the movie, is I think I needed way more Huntress. Because not to jump too far ahead, but we don't see all of the birds of prey in the same room until an hour and 19 minutes into the film.
Mm-hmm.
And at least we get a lot with Black Canary and Montoya, but we don't really get a lot with Huntress. We get the one flashback here and little bits here and there of her just assassinating people without really saying, or, presenting much personality.
Her personality is her interest in her name, like the name is really the personality trait.
I had it noted that it wasn't until like an hour and 4 minutes in when she actually like kind of showed up and was actually introduced.
Let's see. I'm surprised Harley didn't kill Doc. I definitely thought that was going to happen. She just let that guy go after thinking that he's responsible for the death of her hyena. Okay.
She didn't actually kill that many people directly in the movie.
At the police station, she didn't kill anybody, right? It was all just, they were all beanbags and stuff.
I guess a question I have for the group is, should this have been rated PG-13? It is edgier, and they do say fuck a good amount, but I think that this is, like, something that could have been rated PG-13 and get the same effect.
That was in my notes. I got to the end of this movie, and I thought to myself, why is this rated R? Like, if you took out all the F-bombs, there's nothing in this movie that could get you rated R. I'm convinced. There's nothing. Maybe the cocaine? There's no real, like, explicit murder.
Well, he cuts a child's face off.
Oh, yeah, I guess there's that part. Well, okay. Well, maybe you could just imply that and not show it. I mean, I don't think we see her face get cut off, but we see the dad's face get cut off. And if you could just cut away from that and leave it to people's imaginations. Because, again, the movie, we'll talk about it when we get to the box office, but it didn't do very well. It didn't do well at all, period. And part of it was COVID. Part of it was the fact that it's the spawn of Suicide Squad, in a way, and that the title is a mess. But I think part of it is that it's rated R, and that rated R movies don't make nearly as much money as movies that aren't rated R.
Yeah, I was also thinking that while watching, because really the only thing is just they're swearing. But even at times, sometimes it felt like the swearing was just swearing for the sake of swearing, and they could have totally rewritten the script around that. At the amusement park, Montoya confronts Harley, but is kicked out of a window. Zaz arrives and tranquilizes Harley before holding Dinah at gunpoint, but is killed by Helena, who reveals he was the last of her family's killers. Montoya returns and reveals that Roman was the true mastermind behind the Bertinelli's massacre. He had them killed trying to get the diamond. A standoff ensues until they realize Roman has arrived with a small army of masked criminals. Using Harley's old gear, the makeshift team of 5 women withstand and repel the attack. During the battle, Cass is captured by Roman, while Dinah reveals her metahuman ability of supersonic level screaming, defeating several of the mobsters. Harley gives chase on roller skates, and with assistance from Helena, the pair pursue Roman. At a nearby pier, Roman prepares to kill Cass, who pulls the ring from a grenade that she took from Harley's weapon chest. Harley throws him off the pier just before the grenade detonates, tearing him apart and killing him.
Did anyone else laugh when Black Mask's body exploded?
Yes, it's great. He screams like a high pitch and all that.
Beautiful. I really like this part. Again, I think all the action scenes in this movie are really well executed. They're colorful, they're creative. I love how they make use of the funhouse. Like the rotating floor and the giant hands and the slides. Really creative, really different too, because they're not fighting some big bad superpowered guy, which I'm trying to think if there's any example before this where that's not the case. We've got Zod, Doomsday, the Enchantress, Ares, Steppenwolf, Ocean Master, Sivana. Yeah, this is the first time they haven't just had some big CGI fight in one of these movies to finish it off.
It's great. I remember being so happy that it was just a roller skate chase.
The one thing I did hate about this part was at the beginning when they have the really slowed down version of Hit Me With Your Best Shot, because I just hate when they do that with songs and they make it like sound sad and somber.
Yeah, I don't really have any other notes. Just I thought the movie was really funny. I thought Black Mask's death was really funny. Action's great. I already pointed out they don't show up in the same room until the movie's nearly over. They've got like maybe 20-25 minutes together as a group, and it's excellent. Like I really dug it, but it feels like the setup for an even better movie. Like now that the group is together, I would have liked to see a sequel or a rewrite of this movie where they were together as a group from the start, or closer to the start of the film, because it stinks that this is like a group that's got really good chemistry, and we're almost at the credits already.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the pilot of a TV show,
but a movie.
I mean, I agree. And one of the things I really want to highlight that I don't think we've chatted about much, I think the score by Daniel Pemberton is incredible in this. When I was writing my feature film, I would turn on the actual instrumentals, the actual score to this film while writing. It is so like rocky and kind of engaging in the same way of like his other films that I think are great, like Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse. I really like the score to Eddington, and I really just think this is an all-time great superhero score without a memorable theme. It's just like, these are the vibes and I like it.
This is a great score. It works really well in the context of this movie for everything they want to achieve.
Especially in comparison to Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I don't fucking remember any original music from that movie. I remember there being like 30 needle drops, but like I couldn't even tell you when those played or what songs they were.
Man, even the composer of Suicide Squad doesn't really exist.
They had him killed.
Like, he's done movies, but they're like movies that barely exist.
Did anyone else seem it was like a little weird? Like, it felt a little weird that they were just okay with like Cassandra just murdering people with the grenades, like killing Black Mask. She also did it earlier in the movie too, when she gave her dynamite and said to throw this out the window, and then there was like, I don't know, it was just seemed weird to me that they're having like this teenage kid just murder people when she, like, maybe she's a pickpocket, but she's not like a murderer.
I don't know. I don't remember her murdering anybody except for Black Mask, but he's got her like held hostage as like a human shield. I'm willing to give her a pass for that.
I mean, yeah, I say the Black Mask had it coming.
Yeah.
I just think he was misunderstood.
Honestly,
He's an
we
anti-hero.
need more good representation of gay people like in movies, and really the fact that we're killing our gays like this is truly repellent.
They already killed Zaz, so they should have left one alive.
Yeah. Kathy Yan canceled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going right to Grace Randolph.
Okay, well that's
what a way to end.
We got a little more here. I got no notes on this, but in the aftermath of destroying Roman's criminal empire, Montoya quits the GCPD. Using the money from the accounts hidden inside the diamond, Helena joins Dina and Montoya in establishing a team of vigilantes called the Birds of Prey. Harley and Cass escape, selling the diamond itself to a pawn shop and starting their own business. No notes, just like Huntress's outfit looks like a garbage bag. It looked really bad. I was expecting the like black and purple trench coat thing from the comics, and it's just really ugly. It's a nice, new status quo. Sets up that we're going to see Harley again, which we will, but not at all following this. Like the events of the story.
Sandra Kane had to go to her own planet.
Yes, exactly. She had to go back to not only never speaking, but never being seen again. And
finally, a comic accurate version.
Yes, and then the Birds of Prey. We'll never see them again either. So there you go.
Yeah, I kind of hated that. That was like my only note for this, was after I was done watching the credits were rolling, I'm like, it really sucks that this movie ended up setting up ideas that really went nowhere, because at the end of the movie, you were right, it did feel like it was kind of like a setup or like a pilot episode, because they have the Birds of Prey being set up, and then they have Harley going off with Cass, and then they don't follow up on either of those.
Oh, that's like the biggest trend in these movies that we've noticed, is that they just love to set things up that they don't follow through on. I haven't seen Shazam 2 yet, but something tells me the villain is not a slug.
He's a caterpillar.
And, okay, whatever. He's not in the movie.
Do we want... That's a lie, Frank. That's a lie. He's definitely in that movie.
Okay, he's in the movie.
Shazam 2.
I'm sorry, but I'll be joining you. I'll be joining you too shortly on that miserable experience.
I kind of like it. That is my bold take.
I like to keep an open mind. I liked Batman v Superman, even though I hated Man of Steel and hated Justice League. I don't think it's
hate Batman v Superman because I just see all the people that I knew from college and my film world. I'm like, you motherfuckers! I just see them in that movie. They're all over that goddamn movie.
No, the story is terrible, and it's like an hour too long. But if they had ended it before Doomsday, I think it would be significantly better. Like, you have them fight, and then... Anyway, I'm not going to relitigate this. I've already talked about that movie.
That's wacky, because that's also going to be my review of the MCU. If they had ended it before Doomsday, it would have all been fine.
Yep. Oh, God, that movie's going to suck. Imagine if it's not, though. Imagine if they somehow did pull it off.
I'm more interested, like, what if somehow Doomsday is the worst thing ever, but Secret Wars works? But no one...
Right, because Secret Wars was already on the slate. You know, it's just this one that got changed.
I mean, we're all we're all going to Battle World. Like, that's like, it was either going to be a Kang Battle World or a Doom Battle World. Yeah. It's all the fucking same.
So now we're in the aftermath of release, and we have the reception and critical response. Birds of Prey has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 79% with an audience score of 78%, which might be the most even scoring of the whole DCEU. They're only 1% off. On Metacritic, the film has a 60, and the film got a B+ cinema score. But it doesn't matter what the critics say, because money talks louder than critics.
So we get to the box office, and we see that the film has an estimated budget of anywhere from $82 to $100 million. If it's as low as $82 million, that would make it the cheapest DCEU film so far, as Shazam was $90 to $100 million. And also, it would be the cheapest for the rest of the series. I don't think they ever make one cheaper than this.
What about The Flash?
Yeah. Well, it certainly looks cheap. During the domestic opening weekend, the film nabbed a measly $33 million in North America. The opening weekend numbers initially projected the film making anywhere from $50 to $55 million. This was the lowest opening for a DC movie since 2010's Jonah Hex, which I completely forgot that movie existed. I think that's Josh Brolin, right?
And Megan Fox, I think.
A dynamic duo.
Some blame the lackluster opening on a lack of interest in a Harley Quinn film, the R rating, and the confusing title, but there's also COVID to consider. By this point, late January, early February, China was already in lockdown from the coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan province by the time Birds of Prey would have released, and eventually every movie theater in the nation would close as a full lockdown would be enacted. It's hard to say how much money China would have added to the final box office total. Remember, Suicide Squad didn't release there. But no matter the sum, this undoubtedly harmed the total box office performance of the film. Not to mention that other countries would follow suit by March, including the United States. It would have already been out for a couple months by that point, but it still cut off the movie's legs. And Aquaman only became a billion-dollar grossing film because of Chinese moviegoers.
Let's see what Zachary Levi has to say about the COVID-19 lockdown.
Yeah.
It was fake.
Shazam could have stopped COVID. For the final totals, domestically the film made $84.2 million, internationally $121.2 million, for a total of $205.5 million. This is a loss of at least $30 million and marks the second film in the DCEU to end at a loss. But it won't be the last. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic and worldwide lockdowns, Warner Bros. Released the film through PVOD on March 24th, 2020. This happened only a little over 1 month after the film's theatrical debut, going against the regular 90-day run in theaters that films would get before reaching digital/physical home release. The home release version of the film would earn over $31 million, potentially making up for the loss during its theatrical run.
I wrote that down because I thought it was interesting that, according to the internet...
Made that much?
I know, yeah. I guess maybe because of COVID?
Maybe rentals?
And maybe it's counting the video on demand stuff too, yeah. But the movie in theaters lost about $30 million. If you look at like Box Office Mojo or something. So it kind of evens out in the end. Still not, I mean, when you look at opportunity costs and stuff, this was a failure. This was a bomb.
You know what we don't see, though? We don't see Margot Robbie going out onto Twitter and saying, well, actually, we made a profit the way that The Rock did.
Yes.
She says it actually made 1 quintillion.
1 quintillion.
Jesse, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Yes, I host a podcast called The Cheese Wheel. It is a good, jolly, much more chaotic time than this. I think I brought like 5% of the chaos to this, which I apologize for. But no, that's a good time, and we do everything and anything on that show. It's much less structured, and it's a fucking nightmare. I also directed a feature film called Daughters of the Domino, and we are continuing to tour across America. If you wanted to come to your town, go to daughtersofthedomino.com and request a screening. It's a good movie. Frank saw it.
It is a good movie, yes. And The Cheese Wheel, a hyperfixation podcast. What a great tagline. Just excellent show, and I'm very happy you brought some of that chaos, because we do structure our show out as Jesse can see with this rather lengthy document. The chaos is always welcome, and thanks again for coming on the show.
Of course, thank you for having me. And you guys have a really great operation. I love listening to the show. I love learning about these movies that I forced myself to watch a decade ago, and hearing a lot more about context. And you all run a tight ship here, and I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And with Birds of Prey bombing nearly as hard as Justice League, and a global pandemic devastating the movie industry, Warner Brothers' hopes of turning things back around for their DC movie franchise would lay with a sequel to their most well-received film yet, Wonder Woman. Thanks for listening. If you like this post, or if you hated it, please let us know in the comments, and give us 5 stars on whatever app you're listening on. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
I forgot the next one's fucking Wonder Woman 1984.
Warner Brothers is just being passed around like a whore.
Jesus.
I know that's awful, but